A thread by Thomas Wichter at social.quodverum.com for Heshmat Alavi. Heshmat said, quote, I would also appreciate it if you could break down the 1, 2, 3 events that Trump would have to process into a new administration for his second term come January 20th, 2021. End quote. Thomas begins. First, I'll explain the factors. The U.S. Constitution requires that the states approve the electoral votes sent to Congress. By all accounts, at least 6 states used unconstitutional processes to certify their electoral votes. To put it simply, state law was bypassed in multiple ways. Alternate slates of electors have already been chosen, but they were not officially certified by the states. These alternate slates of electors were chosen in order to have them prepared for what's coming. The only date that matters is January 20th, 2021. There is ample legal precedent to allow a presidential election redo, but that won't be necessary. If the illegal votes are not counted, Trump wins in a landslide. So, Trump needs only 270 electoral votes. States can decertify electoral votes based on fraud. I forgot to add that the alternate slates of Trump electors have already voted. So the votes are out there. Trump must prove without a shadow of a doubt that the election was fraudulent. My best guess is that Trump used very small teams of U.S. military cyber warfare and reconnaissance specialists. Somewhere in the continental U.S., CONUS, there was a central hub keeping a running vote count. The military teams located that central hub and set up a temporary wireless network nearby. Since the vote counting was done over the internet, the military boosted the wireless signals of the enemy devices. The signals were then transmitted to a data collection server. Therefore, the entire process was captured and recorded. They would have planted cameras and bugs to record voices and faces. The warehouses of ballots had already been located. The illegal vote counting was also recorded. If the Chinese and other state actors were involved, that was proven. At any rate, Trump has the evidence. Why didn't he show it before January 6th? Because he had to do 2 things. 1, he had to let the crime be committed so that he gained political leverage over the Democrats and Republicans whom China had purchased. 2, he had to expose the level of corruption that has taken the U.S. to the brink of totalitarianism. By allowing the crime to be committed and by proving it and triumphing over it, Trump destroys all his enemies in one move. He becomes the most powerful person in global human history, and he uses that power for good. So how does he expose all this? I don't know. He could expose it publicly, in which case Congress will voluntarily decertify Biden in order to avoid spending the rest of their lives in prison. Or he goes to the Supreme Court. If he exposes it publicly and Congress still refuses to decertify Biden, the Supreme Court will do it, and members of Congress will be charged one after the other. In the third revolution in military affairs, 3RMA, small tactical teams operate autonomously. Trump created massive goodwill in the military by fixing the VA system and doing several other things. There's no doubt whatsoever that small teams could have been detached for classified duty that only Trump knew about. Remember also that Trump had long ago infiltrated the Democratic Party with his own people. I can't predict how Trump will reveal his evidence. All I know is he will be sworn in on January 20th. Trump himself pulled off the very first sting of his presidency. When he was briefed by members of the intelligence community, he told nobody in his organization that the briefing was going to happen. Therefore, when lies about the briefing appeared in the press only an hour or so later, he knew that one or more of the intelligence officials had spoken to the press. Remember that Trump has pulled off miracles in foreign policy. The attempted theft of the 2020 election was the greatest trap in political history. Trump would not abandon America and you to the worst people in the world. He would not walk away and leave us all in hell. Be strong. Iran will be free.
I will be the greatest president that God ever created.